Welcome back to Make Play Treasure. Today we're reading The Gravity Tree, the true story of a tree that inspired the world. Written by Anna Crowley Redding, illustrated by Yas Imamura. A tree may seem like a rather ordinary thing, but hundreds of years ago, a tree was about to embark on an extraordinary journey, and it all started with just a speck of a seed. Inside that tiny black shell was enough potential to change the world. Nestled down in the dirt, the still seed slept until the warmth of spring saturated the soil, soaking up water. The apple seed swelled and swelled until, with a shaft and a shake, the seed split its shell. A wisp of roots webbed down, down, down as a tender shoot tunneled up, up, up. Then it reached the light. Little leaves fanned out, and they were full of tiny cells that collected sunshine and transformed those golden rays into sugary food. It was the perfect fuel for growing bigger and bigger still. Season after season, the tree put on a spectacular show. Golden autumn leaves took to the wind until bare branches withstood winter weather. The tree's tips ballooned with blossoming buds, swarmed by bees, until petals fell away to reveal growing apples. Until, bending and bowing, the tree's branches weighed heavy with fruit ripe and ready to fall. And on one late summer day, around 1665, the tree was not alone. Who sat below its canopy? One of the greatest thinkers in history, Isaac Newton. The question-asking, truth-seeking, math-loving Isaac had grown up in the shadow of this tree, and now the all-grown-up Isaac leaned against the trunk. His mind was full of questions, and the tree was full of apples, until whack!
Whack.
The thwack sparked an explosion of questions in Isaac's mind. Why did that apple fall down? Why not up towards the sky? Why not skitter sideways? Why? Which got him thinking about an even bigger question. Could that falling piece of fruit explain why the moon doesn't float away from the earth or crash and smash right into it? Then Isaac came up with the answer. Gravity! Universal gravity! He discovered that the same invisible force that pulled the apple toward the center of the earth also kept the moon from drifting off into space. This scientific discovery is one of the most important genius ideas of all time. Isaac's fate was set in motion, and as Isaac became a sensation, so did the tree. It earned a new name, the Gravity Tree. People wanted to see the tree, sit under the tree, taste an apple from the tree, anything just to be near the tree that had inspired such greatness. Even long after Isaac died, his ideas lived on, and so did the tree. But one stormy day, around 1820, the wind whipped into a ferocious howl. With a crack and a boom, the Gravity Tree crashed to the ground. Curious crowds carried away wooden shards, small pieces of the tree that had inspired such greatness. An entire branch was even used to make a chair, a perfect perch for pondering. But as the Gravity Tree itself, it was a dreadful sight, a haphazard heap of wood, alone in the garden, dead. But deep inside the fallen trunk, part of the tree was still alive. With water and sunlight and time, new roots formed, drilling deep down into the dirt. On top of the trunk, a shoot sprouted up, thickening and branching as the tree grew bigger and bigger still. And once again, the Gravity Tree drew crowds. Then, one afternoon in 1930, a strange shadow appeared under the tree, the shape of a man with wild and crazy hair poking out from under his hat. It was none other than Albert Einstein. World-famous Albert was on his way to give a nearby lecture about his own big, huge, important ideas that were built on Isaac's discoveries almost 300 years earlier. But first, Albert simply had to see the tree that inspired his ideas, and Albert wasn't the only question-asking scientist to make the trip. Astronauts and astrophysicists and thousands of scientists can trace the beginning of their own scientific journey back to the tree. On a cold winter day in 1987, the tree once again welcomed another extraordinary thinker. World-famous brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking cast his eyes on the tree that set his own path in motion. Stephen may have been busy studying black holes, gravity, and the origins of, well, everything, but none of his big ideas about the cosmos would have been possible without the tree that dropped the apple that inspired Isaac Newton, which sparked even more discoveries. Just like that one tiny speck of an apple seed, Stephen too had the potential to change the world. The tree's work was not done. No matter the decade, no matter the century, the tree continued to inspire people all over the world and beyond. On one spring day in 2010, it wasn't so much who was visiting the tree, but where a piece of the tree was headed. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Aboard the International Space Station, an astronaut released a sliver of the gravity tree from his grip. The wood did not fall down to Earth, it floated. Nearly 350 years later, Isaac was right. The tree's journey was not over. A master carriage maker carefully crafted a coach for the Queen of England. Sanding and shaping, he used a small piece of the tree to adorn his gilded masterpiece. Now the tree was ready for a royal ride as a crowning jewel. But for people who could not travel to England to see the living gravity tree, how could they be near the tree that inspired such greatness? Expert gardeners had thought of that. They planted seeds from the gravity tree's apples, and they carefully sawed away small branches from Isaac's tree to make new gravity trees. After traveling on trains and sailing on ships, the saplings inspired crowds in their new homes around the world. As for the original gravity tree, it is grown, gnarled, and twisted and requires a bit of support, but it's still alive. It still produces apples just like the one that fell right before Isaac's eyes. And those expert gardeners taking care of the gravity tree and its descendants around the world so that you might visit and find inspiration of your own. A tree may seem like a rather ordinary thing, but hundreds of years ago, a tree was about to embark on an extraordinary journey, and it all started with just a speck of a seed. You, too, may be small, but inside you is enough potential to change the world. The end. We hope you like this book and it inspires you. Remember to like and subscribe so that you can keep up with our reading events and activities. Catch you next time on Make, Play, Treasure. Bye!